88.3 WLFC, man. What it do? It's AD, Alex Davis, faculty advisor. And you see on the screen already, Giovanni Fillari. Hang on. Giovanni Salvatore Fillari.
Salvatore, yeah.
Hang on. Is it Salvatore, or is it Salvatore?
Salvatore. So Salvatore.
Okay, man. See, you're authentically Italian.
I am guilty. You know,
I was told that by my dad's best friend, so not even from my dad, that he was like 12.5%. And I never even asked my dad. I just went with it because it's cool to be Italian. I watch the mob movies, all type of stuff. I want to be Italian, so I just told my friends, I'm 6.25. I'm 6. Yeah, come on, I'm 6% Italian. But I actually don't. I think I'm Welsh. So I don't think I'm Italian at all. So yeah,
you never know. You might have a little in you.
I wouldn't be mad. No, I love the Italian culture. Well, at least the mob stuff. That's all I know. Yeah. So I'm referencing you guys with bad stuff. I'm sorry. It is what it is.
It's all good. It's all good. It's common. So.
You've been a positive representation of Black and Italian for me. So thank you.
I appreciate that.
Yes. And I know it was a bit of a small intro, but for those that don't know, that are tuned in right now, Gio, as I call you, I don't know what everybody starts off talking to. I mean, you're kind of fancy now. You've always been kind of fancy though, but so I don't know if they come in with Giovanni. I feel like you can't you got to say Giovanni soft, with some. I don't know.
Only when I'm overseas do I hear that, and I've only been overseas once in the last couple of decades. But I was recently in Paris, and everyone was and everyone had it with an accent too. It was Giovanni, it's Giovanni. Do you want to get a cafe or something like that? But that's how they said it, and I'm I kind of like that.
No, I mean, if you got a name like that, come on. I have Alexander. I'm screwed, man. No, but I met you Bowling Green State University. I came in 2008, fall of 2008. And my first thing that I was focused on was going to the campus media radio station, WFAL, WBGU. You happen to be general manager of WBGU. I had no idea the greatness, and I'm not gassing you here. You can be sarcastic, but really, the greatness that I was walking into and about to immerse myself with. So you were there at the literal day second, of my radio career, and clearly I love radio and still found myself back in it. So that really means something to me from those individuals that were there at the beginning and helped get me to that next level, whatever that may have been at the time. So no, thank you. You were, and I'm sure still are to this day, and this is not a knock either, but a very clean-cut individual, and I mean that literally and figuratively. We see the beard, we see the fresh, the shiny head, but also you were always on the straight and narrow path, which was always good for me. And I don't know what year you were born. I think you got 4 years on me, 3 years on me.
I was born in '87, so I was a junior. My junior and my senior year when you slid through.
Okay, right. So for me, it's good to have individuals to look up to, even if you weren't thinking about it at the time. Okay, this individual is a role model for me. I wasn't thinking at the time. I'm just this is someone I can relate to, and I rock with. So, but looking back on it, you were definitely a role model for me, and it was good to have you in my corner in various aspects. And so you were someone that has stuck with me. So thank you. Because before I start talking shit, I want to make sure I give you the flowers and whatnot. Because once I start going, it is what it is. So
I appreciate it. No, I've a lot of great memories at WBGU. It was definitely a lot of chaos behind the scenes. Even though it's kind of like the swan theory, where you see a swan floating gracefully on a lake, but underneath them legs are kicking. My legs were kicking. Let me tell you that. Playing football and managing a radio station and a music department all at the same time was insane. But I was a kid. I had energy. And I also got to meet great people like yourself come through, and it's amazing to see that you're still in radio. That's something that every time that I think about you and I see what you're doing, understanding that you are still sticking through it, that is amazing to see. So I'm glad to see that I didn't steer you completely out of the radio world.
Not at all.
Not up too much, but yeah, no, it's really good to see where you're at right now.
No, I appreciate that. You look the same, by the way. Like you look the same. I mean, well, I mean, you had a little bit of hair back then.
I had a lot of hair.
Okay, no, see, no, hang on. Let's start there. I mean, compared to now, yes, but see, I met you post braids, so
that's cool. Yeah, okay.
But
yeah.
I do like not even vaguely in very much detail. I can remember like the track photos you showed me way back when. And the braid picture is right there. It's fresh in my mind. So you did have a lot of hair before I knew you.
I did.
When I met you, you had a regular amount of hair, if you will. You could tell it was going to go in a couple years.
It's because the helmet. Listen,
is it okay? Let me ask you this: is it because the helmet? Because you remember Marquise, right? And he was just bald all his life.
Marquise was bald
since birth.
The day he stepped on campus. So he was like, he didn't have a chance. I can't believe that's a reference for you. But for me, it was a lot of it was the fact that I was getting my hair braided and they were pulling on my hair. So like the front
you tender-headed at all? Is that a thing?
So tender, like when I hear people say tender-headed, like tender-headed is like just an excuse for people to say like, oh, like you're soft, like in the hair industry, like, oh, you're soft, you're tender-headed. Where you actually, that's your body saying, yo, like they're pulling way too tight. Like,
okay.
And yes, I was tender-headed, but they're also pulling way too tight. And look at my hair and look at me now, like I'm bald. So
I've been contemplating because this is like the longest my hair's ever been. Mind you, I'm not cleaned up right now. It is what it is. But I've been contemplating on just doing it one time just to say I've done it. But
go bald.
No. I didn't say go bald. Oh, you saying if I do the braids, it'll make me go bald?
No. I'm telling you, just skip that. Just go bald. Like,
is that a dig? Are you saying it looks that bad to go bald? Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying we're always welcoming new members. Join the club.
It's not happening. It's not happening. I was gonna get braids one time just to say I've done it. Here's my thing.
Get braids, fine. Go have your fun. But by the time you get done, you're like, all right, my scalp's itching. This hurts. I'm tired of greasing in between these braids. Let me go shave my head.
Jeez. Here's my problem. Here's my problem. I mean, you say you're mixed, right? But you're also like you're like a black mixed. I'm more close to the logic mixed, where you don't really know. So if I go to my Baptist church, Second Baptist, and I come in with braids, they're gonna look at me crazy. Now, so there's that side. If I come into University of Findlay, you can imagine the demographic, right? In classroom, in faculty, and I come in with my hair braided, they're gonna have a whole bunch of individuals looking at me crazy. Not to say I won't do it, but I'm thinking about both sides here. I'm okay. There's not really a happy medium for me here. I'm still gonna do it probably though.
That's fair. That's fair.
One time. Real quick, this is random. And I don't because I don't recall. I don't know if you ever. Do you like? Are you a Drake fan?
I am. Yeah, I love Drake.
I can tell. You have.
You want to hear a funny story? You want to hear a funny story really quick?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so I work at Nike, obviously. Yes. And Drake is one of the artists that we collaborate with from a product standpoint. So this was right before the pandemic. This is February 2020, and things were pretty much normal. January, February in 2020, on campus at Nike, we have several facilities where you get to work out at. And I was in the Bo Jackson Fitness Center or a training center, athletic center. And we have training classes where you can have 10, 15, 20, 30, 40 people work out at a time. Saturday morning, 9 a.m., I'm in a workout class. This one dude comes up to me and was like, hey, like, are you in brand marketing? And I'm like, yeah. He's like, okay, cool. What's your name? I was like, Gio or Giovanni, whatever. Like, that's how it shows up in the phone book or like on the email. He's like, okay, cool. Yeah, my name is so-and-so. I don't want to just, blast the name out right now. But he was like, okay, cool. How long you been at Nike for? I'm like, I've been here since 2015. He's like, all right, bet, cool. All right, have a good day. And I'm like, okay. 2 weeks later, he's like, so we're getting done with the workout, and he was like, hey, Gio, right? And I'm like, yeah, what's up? And he's like, all right, listen, we're working with an artist or working with an individual on their product, and based on your build, you're about what, like 5'11", 6 feet. He's like, I'm like, yeah. He's like, okay, cool. And you're about like this weight range. And I'm like, yeah, cool. He's like, all right, cool. So yeah, so we're working with an artist on his product. Like, you want to come and like meet us in this building in about a week or two? I'm like, yeah, sure, absolutely. I'm like, all right, cool. So I go to the meeting and I go to this building. The artist is not there, but he was like, hey, so again, like, you're about this height, you're about this weight. And I was like, okay. He's like, we're doing it for Catalyst. And I'm like, is this for Drake? And he was like, yeah. Like, yeah. So your body frames are very similar. His shoulders are a little bit broader than yours, but you'll do.
Broader shoulders than you? Hang on, because you
I'll never forget that. He was like, he's got a little bit more broader shoulders than you do, but you'll be fine. It'll fit.
You've got broad shoulders.
Huh?
You've got broad, you at least
that's what I thought.
I don't know if you shrunk, but no, like that's saying something. What?
No, but then he was like, how much you weigh? I'm right now, like at that time, I was like, yeah, I'm right about 220. It kind of fluctuates though. He was like, that's the exact answer that he gave. So we want to fit this to his specs. So you are the closest thing that we have to him on campus. So we need you to throw this stuff on. We're gonna take photos, send it over to his team, and then we'll make adjustments based on your size. So
that's funny. That's funny. No, you have what just from what I've seen in his, his media and entertainment in whatever the last 12 years, you have Aubrey mannerisms. I can't even tell you what it is. The way you talk. I never would have thought about this post 2010 because we weren't like listening to Drake post 2010, right? But now I'm like, I've seen too much Drake that now okay, I've seen this before I knew about Drake. So yeah. Aubrey and Gio, you guys have different names too.
We do.
I'm gonna take it back. I just want to start from the beginning a little bit more. And I may jump around here a bit as we go, but you were the general manager of WBGU. While you were a student athlete, you were not on scholarship for football, correct?
Not until my senior year.
That's right. That's right.
So I didn't do a fifth year because I got sick. Because I had to get my tonsils taken out because I got mono.
I remember that now.
I had to leave campus for like a month and a half because I went home to do the surgery and I recovered. I came back. I lost my spot on special teams and my spot as a backup safety to Keith Morgan. Love Keith, great guy.
Wow.
But Keith was Keith got his shine. He started playing and he balled out at his career at Bowling Green. So I came back. I had to take all those classes that I missed. So I fell behind. Had that fifth year. Going into that fifth year during training camp, I was balling out. I was doing extremely well. We had a brand new coach, brand new coaching staff, so they could have been like, "Yo, Gio, get out."
Right.
But they're like, "Hey, it's your fifth year. You persevered. You're doing extremely well. We're gonna go ahead and put you on scholarship for that fifth year." So I was on scholarship my last year. Yeah.
What was you were number 31?
27.
27. Who was 31? Was
Roger Williams.
No idea who Roger Wood. I'm sure I do if I know the. Wait, hang on. No, hang on. Is that who's Heisman 32 on Instagram? That's your boy.
That's Roger. That's
okay,
Roger.
So never mind. Okay, so
Roger Williams. Yep, that's him.
Okay, so I know his number, not yours. Sorry.
It's all good. Don't worry about it.
But I'm pretty sure
I wasn't on the field for you to see it, so it's all good.
I wasn't at many BG games, to be honest. It was cold. It was cold.
Except the Boise State game. Everyone on campus went to the game when we played Boise State.
I do remember the Boise State game. Yeah.
Because they were ranked number 6 at the time.
I don't know. And when I say I remember it, I remember knowing about it and seeing pictures. I still don't remember if I actually went, but I remember it happening.
It happened. It happened. Game happened. Yeah.
Game happened. You remember the score?
Oh my God! It was 52 to 20 something maybe. They might.
Not BG or was it BG?
Boise State won.
Okay, that's okay. That's
They had Kellen Moore, Doug Martin, Titus Young. We played them 2 games after they played Oregon, and the guy got punched. And LeGarrette Blunt punched the Boise State guy.
Oh wow, that was Boise State, huh? Man,
that was Boise State. Yep.
Wow, I'm feeling real old right now. Just thinking about just sports moments. So no, I just wanted to highlight that because I think that's dope, right? You have like one, being a student athlete is ridiculous in and of itself, right? Just thinking about schedules, whether you're on scholarship or not, but being a student athlete, not on scholarship, but then going else to find other work and get that scholarship. Because being general manager of WBGU, I think that was something that was always dope that it was offered, was that there was financial or scholarship gain reward.
Scholarship, yeah.
Oh, so, okay, yeah, right. So I also want to highlight that, we kept it very very waffle colored in there. It was, you were the lead man. I came in. Ryan Glover took over the next.
Ryan Glover came in. Yeah.
Like, I mean, you couldn't, like, especially in 08, 09, 10. Like, what? I mean, not everything.
Unprecedented. Yeah.
Not everything was as mixed as the NBA is now. So it's like, it was great to see. But no, so and there's a few years in your journey that I'm gonna miss here. But eventually, you got out. You're from the Bay Area,
San Francisco.
So San Francisco. Okay, sorry. I know Oakland, the Bay. I'm gonna start saying San Francisco. I know I'd like couple it as one. Don't.
It's all good. Yeah, no, you're all good. Yeah, but from city. Yeah.
Okay. But came out to Ohio for school, right? Mm-hmm. You ended up at some point. You got to Oregon.
Yes.
And I know there's a gap there, but I just want to make sure we highlight exactly what you're doing now. You're now at Nike. Did you go to Portland for Nike? Is that where you?
Yeah. Okay. So in a 30-second clip, I graduated from Bowling Green, moved to Columbus to do sales.
Columbus, that's where it was. Okay.
I was in Columbus for about 2.5, 3 years. I was in sales there. Did some sales and marketing there. We ended up branching out to a spot in Oklahoma City. So I moved to Oklahoma City
for that now.
Okay. A year to a year and a half. But things didn't work out. Wasn't a fan. Ended up starting over. And I was like, I gotta go back to base, go back to the home base. I had to go back to the crib and just really figure out what I wanted to do, because I figured out what I don't want to do. I knew I didn't want to do sales.
Part of the journey.
You know what I mean? But I just knew that by process of elimination, I knew that I wanted to inspire people and I wanted to be involved in sport. So I applied for a bunch of different jobs. Nike ended up hitting me back saying, hey, you applied for one job, that's gone, but we got a different job that you might be good for. So applied, interviewed, did all that. And then I moved up to Portland in first week of June in 2015 to start working at Nike.
That's crazy. See, I've only been in the Pacific Northwest like really one time, but we did the whole, did Portland, did Seattle, and what is it, Mount Olympia, something up there in Washington.
Mount Olympus, one of those. I don't know. All I know is Rainier.
Rainier, okay, did Rainier, right? Yep, did all that, did the British Columbia, but I love it's so beautiful up there.
It is.
And coffee really goes. I mean, like, coffee goes with everything, right? But like coffee goes with like certain environments in my head too. And so like when it's like a rainy day or whatever, or when a hot beverage is amazing. But like when you have like a very green environment like you do in the Pacific Northwest, like it just makes having that cup of coffee like that much better. I can't explain it.
100%. No, I totally agree. That's why coffee is just booming up here.
It makes sense. Like it's the vibe. Have you always? I don't even know if I remember. Have you always been a coffee drinker?
Yeah, I would have Starbucks in hand all the time back in college.
I feel okay now. I do. Yeah, you had like a gray. I don't know if it was a North Face, but you always had. And now I think about it, yeah, you did have Starbucks all the time. Wow.
I wore my gray football hoodie quite often.
You had a zip up that I recall. It was like one of like your like signature jackets.
It was
gray and black. That's why
I did. I got it because I used to shop from Express all the time when I was in college.
Oh, you've been fancy.
Nah, Express
in college.
I had a credit card. That's why I was wilding. You know what I mean? I was a kid. But so they had the Starbucks at the student union, right? So I was always in there. Then they opened that one on it's not Main Street. Was it Worcester?
Yeah.
They built that Chipotle and then they built that Starbucks.
Yes.
So I was always there, and then Tim Hortons was 24 hours. So we're always in there. Got the Timbits with the coffee. It was a wrap. But yeah, no, like Starbucks was my gateway. So when I started drinking, so back to my Sicilian roots. So my dad, I would make coffee for him back in when I was a kid. He's like, "Oh, you put on a pot of coffee?" I'm like, "Absolutely." So I take the mocha pot, we make some espresso, give him a shot. Yep. And he was like, "Do you want some?" I'm like, "Absolutely." That was like, that's just a part. That's just a part of the meal. You know what I mean? That's like your post meal, whatever. And so I kind of would drink it off and on for the most part, but I really got deep in high school because right next to my bus stop to go to school was a Starbucks, and I fell in love with this barista at Starbucks. She was an Ethiopian woman.
You sound like Aubrey. Wow.
No, like
She was an equestrian too, huh?
Nah, she was an Ethiopian student that went to USF. I forget her name. I've been trying to figure out what her name is for the longest, just because whenever I tell the story, I always feel bad because I don't remember her name. But hey, AD, when I mean in love, I was in love.
Fell in love with the barista. That's how you.
I was in love with the
barista. That's how you start up a song, right?
That is, but like it's because they know what they're doing, bro. Like when so they like when they know your order, they're like, and she hit me with she didn't tell me back to how they would say my name in like other countries. They were like, "Hi, Giovanni, mocha frappuccino," and I'm like, "Oh my god, yes,
you got me.
That's exactly what I want."
She got me.
Likes me. She knows she says my full name. She knows my order. Like she definitely likes me. I got my heart broken though because I went in during my I went in one day and she wasn't working, but it was her day off. But she was in there anyway, and she was in there with her dude. And I'm like, what about us?
What about hey, that never stopped Drake, man. Never stopped. It never stopped.
It never did. My villain arc started there, and that's why I only drink hot coffee.
Wow.
I'm kidding.
So have you ever consumed, real quick, I know because you just said like when I was a kid, you've always like looked like a grown ass man to me. Like there's not a time that I remember, like when you say kid, like I can't even like describe like, okay, yeah, he was, I mean, one, there's separation in age, but you've just always looked like, you were like, not that you looked old, but you just always look like there's a difference. But I'm okay, yeah, he's been a grown ass man since I've known him. Yeah, there was no college Geo for me. I can't really describe it. It's weird. But I just thought about that. I'm like, no, he's never been a kid in my eyes. Like
I just look like Morgan Freeman. I was born old.
Just born old. Like, but I remember like, he's always kind of looked old. But yeah, no, yeah. But no, you just been a grown ass man. Anyways, you've drank iced coffee before, right?
All right. So like I know like on social media, like I used to like a lot of the stuff I do when it comes to iced coffee is very much satirical. I used to exclusively drink iced coffee. Like that was like I used to only like really much drink like iced coffees, like ice, I would get frappuccinos for.
I'm not cutting. You did get frappuccinos. I used to see you with frappuccinos.
I would get frappuccinos, like I would get coffee frappuccinos. That was my go-to drink. It's like I'm getting like a blended ice drink, right?
No, hang on. You sorry, because memory, I mean, I'm 32, I'm getting old too myself. So like memory, and I used to dabble in other natural products.
You too.
listen here. But I know because you got me into a drink at the Starbucks Union. That's probably exactly what it was because it was frothy and it was, I think it was brown, but it was like a frappuccino.
I think that, or I got you, probably that. But then I like transferred to white mochas. So I used to drink like iced white mochas all the time. And
whatever, one of those two, whatever it was, that's what I took on for the rest of my college career. See, I should have thought about this. You've been. Oh wow, all this.
So I used to drink it quite often. Then I went towards white mochas, and I was drinking iced white mochas from the time I was graduating from college until like 2014 2015 range, until like about 2014. I stopped drinking them because they had like a venti iced white mocha with whipped cream has anywhere from like 50 plus grams of sugar, right? Like there's so much sugar, and I was not participating in football anymore, so I wasn't working out, so the weight just didn't. The weight stayed, and I really I got big, bruh. And I was just like, I kind of got big, yeah. But even like most recently, like I kind of got like to that 230 range, and I'm just like,
is that big for you?
It's kind of big.
Okay.
So especially when I was in college, I was like anywhere from like 205 to 215.
Okay, so that's okay. That's yeah. Actually,
but that was also like I like 6% body fat. And,
no, you were chiseled up in college. Facts.
Yeah, and then
it was a different type of weight.
Different type of weight, right? Not the weight that you will want to just really carry that much. So I started drinking. I started going into more of the specialty coffee route. Started visiting coffee shops in Oklahoma City, actually. And I was like, okay, cool. Like, there's like a couple of them. Moved back to the city. Got into more of the specialty coffee scene. So like Blue Bottle and things like that before they got as big as they are now. Once I got to Portland, I was still drinking Starbucks. And I was also like dabbling into like the specialty scene because there's so many different coffee shops. And so it's a really good city to really like try like, like these small businesses, specialty coffee shops, and just like that whole scene. From there, I made the transition. Eventually, I would drink a lot of iced coffee. I was drinking iced lattes, like vanilla iced latte was my thing when I started drinking with an alternative milk. So I drink with oat milk for the most part.
Okay.
And then iced Americanos, and I would drink them because you can drink them like that. You know what I mean? Like you drink them so quick.
Right.
And if you don't drink them quickly, they'll melt. So it basically loses taste. So I made that shift. The last time I had an iced coffee was in January. I had one in like the last, I would say, year. It was in January because I went to this coffee shop in LA that strictly served iced drinks, and I didn't know that. Until
I was about to say, did you know that going in? Okay.
I had no idea. But and the coffee shop is dope. Like this was an amazing coffee shop. But I did have an iced coffee because that's all they had. There's actually a couple of coffee shops in LA that were just like, yo, we just got iced coffee. And I'm like, that makes sense. But so like for longest, so I would drink iced coffee. But the biggest reason why I don't drink iced coffee is because you don't really get the experience. Like it's just so quick and it gets watered down. And you get scammed too. They fill up 1/2 of your cup with ice.
No, so I always say light ice. And mind you, I know you're talking about a whole bunch of, well, for one, you know where you live. So you're gonna get the good of the good, and you're gonna get the fancy stuff all out there. And you know where I live. I live in Findlay, Ohio. So I have a Dunkin' Donuts iced coffee. I was running through it. Like I told you before we got on, I had to save it just so I could have it on screen. But it is very watered down at this point because it's been watered down since I got it. But so everything you're saying is right. But it's summertime. And I'm going against myself because I've already told you this might be the first iced coffee I've actually had all year. But in the summertime, I love an iced coffee though. Usually,
I feel that. And it is refreshing. Like I get it. Like it's refreshing, but it doesn't hydrate you as much as you think you would. You got to drink all these cups of coffee for hydration.
Right.
Next thing you know, you're going to be like, like this, like
tired.
Some hands are shaking. Like
I had a cold brew the other day, and I haven't had a cold brew for a long time. I have no idea. Like I don't really go for it, but I was wired. Like I felt like I was on drugs. I'm like, yeah.
I mean, because just like the whole process of making cold brew, it's like it's highly concentrated.
Man. So so you get to Portland real quick. What's your role at Nike? What's your title, if you don't mind?
Currently, I'm on the brand marketing team I'm on the North America brand and marketing team for leagues and athletes. So I work with an athlete on his brand marketing plan, and I also work with an HBCU on their marketing plan and their strategy as well.
Are we able to say names? Can we say names? It sounds
I have the absolute pleasure of working with Colin Kaepernick and his brand plan and his brand work, as well as his team. And I also work with Florida A&M and everything that we do with them in partnership with LeBron James. I
gotta say, man, like it's dope. Like it's dope to see. I mean, it'll be dope to see anybody do this type of work, right? Because it's great work. But it's really dope to see someone that you know and appreciate knowing, right? I'm like, so when I see that, I immediately get filled with joy. So yeah, like hats off to you. I can't wear one right now anyway; it won't fit. But if I had one on, I would take it off.
I appreciate it. No, it's a blessing. Like I mean, like. It makes the whole journey worth it. I mean, there's obviously, just like everyone else, like uncertainty and doubt, in the journey as far as like where I'm going, where I'm going to end up. But I mean, it is like the whole thought of like, just like, man, like what am I even doing in life? Like, you know what I mean? Like, this is
you're doing it.
Yeah, not. It took a while, but I'm here.
Whatever it is, you're doing it. Yeah, I'm soft as hell, so I'm gonna try. I'm gonna get through this little, just so I don't, you're not gonna see any moisture from my eyes. Yeah, compensation from my eyes. It's an inside joke. No, like really salute to you. While you're in Portland, you start the coffee feed. And I don't know what you deem that. Is it a blog? Like what do you like?
So yeah, long story short, when I first got to Portland, when I first got to Nike, I was doing consumer services, and I was a social media specialist in consumer services, where I was on Nike.com and I was in the Nike app, responding to customers when they wanted to know what the size and fit was something, when a package was missing or something like that, or if something was out of stock and they want to know when it was, or when they didn't hit on sneakers. So you can imagine what those types of conversations were like, right? So,
real quick, sorry. What does your closet look like on the shoe side? On whether, oh boy,
yeah, it's nice.
okay. All right. Okay, how many pairs of shoes, including dress and casual? Like, how many pairs of shoes are we talking?
I'm talking probably like about close to 100 now.
Okay, all right. That's respectable. I thought you was gonna hit me with some ignorant stuff, and I think 100.
Nah, it's just like the heat's there though, which is pretty cool. Like I'm pretty particular on like, I won't say like particular on the heat, but like I got now. So I got these on today.
Ooh,
some light.
Ooh. And wait, what are those? Some type of Air Maxes? What are those?
The Off-White Air Vapor Max.
The Off-White Air. Was there anything white about them?
No, Off-White's just the brand.
Okay. Got see. I'm so far. I used to be. I still know a lot about sneakers, but clearly you work right there. I have no idea.
It's pretty nice. There's some benefits, but so I was a social media specialist. When I first got to Nike, I was on a contract. I wasn't a full-time employee. I was we call it ETW. It's an external temporary worker. So I was working full-time, but my contract was only for 15 months.
Okay.
So once the contract ended in September 2016, I was unemployed, and I had to find it out a different way to get a new contract in the next you have to wait there's a 90-day period you have to wait, or a full-time role on campus. It was the holidays, people weren't hiring, people weren't answering emails. So I'm like, all right, man, what do I do?
Right.
So I was looking for jobs. First of all, trying to figure out if I wanted to stay up here. The answer was yes. I've felt this passionate about the work or this strongly about wanting to work somewhere ever. So that's kind of why I really just stuck with my guns. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna stay in Portland. I know I'm unemployed right now, but I'm just gonna figure it out.
Yes.
I was in different coffee shops hanging out. I loved coffee, and it gave me an opportunity to really figure out what's around the city. And I also knew I wanted to get into marketing. So I created Coffee Feed because I was unemployed and I was in these coffee shops thinking that it'd be a pretty good idea to take pictures and photos and do maybe small write-ups about them. Right. But also it showed marketing skills that is non-Nike related that I could take into interviews. I've also created a community of locally that is now moving globally, where I create assets, I have call to action, A, B, C, X, Y, Z. I created the work and I created the experience that I didn't have in a field that I wanted to be in. And then I got back on campus with a new contract in the same consumer services team, but I used that time to leverage the opportunity to get into marketing, specifically a football marketing team. I ended up working with the grassroots marketing team where I was doing high school and youth football, baseball, and softball. So we were working with the youngest and brightest who in those sports, but also working back with the NFL on initiatives to move sport forward. So
it's a lot. Sorry, it's a lot to unpack, but it's dope. It's dope to hear. Yeah. I'm gonna unpack it as I go back and watch this. But that's man. So taking a little bit less here, a little bit more fun. Do you have a favorite coffee shop that you one of all time, maybe of all time, anywhere, and one that you frequent the most right now? And if you say Starbucks,
no, that's tough. The one I frequent the most, would be naturally right now would be the one that's like 2 blocks away from my crib. It's called Barista. I actually went there this morning. I'm in there every day just because it's literally like it's a block and a half from where I live.
Convenient, right? And I'm assuming it's good though too.
Oh, it's really good.
Or else you wouldn't go. Yeah, I'm sure you're tasting.
Another one that I frequent quite often, and it's one of my favorites, is Concourse Coffee. A good friend of mine owns it. It's a basketball themed coffee shop, Black owned. It's dope. Yeah.
All angles here. Come on, it's called Concourse.
Concourse, yeah.
Look. I don't know when. I'm not gonna put a timestamp on myself. I'm gonna come visit you. I want
out, yo. We'll get you. I'll get you. I'll let you visit the Nike company store. Tour you around campus. Like, it'll be dope.
I'm in for that. But I'll tell you what. I want the coffee tour.
You get the coffee tour.
Real quick, and it's not about me, but 2014, that's when I was up there doing my little Pacific Northwest trip and went, just being stupid, right? Just went to Nike headquarters just randomly, like, let me just see if we can get in, right? And of course we got shut down. But like, that is random. I just felt like I should share right there. So
it's all good. Hey, if you're with someone who's an employee, like, you're all good.
I'm with the Nike Drake. I'm with
no. Someone else has referred to me as that.
You really don't look anything. You don't look anything like Drake, but it's the way you talk. It's like literally your delivery and then your mannerisms. I can't, I'm sorry. It just hit me as I everything's coming back to me full force now. It makes sense. Is that working in sport through Nike? Is that how you got into reffing? Was reffing something you always wanted to do? Because clearly you enjoy it. I love your sarcasm. I love everything you do. It's beautiful. It's hilarious.
I didn't think that I would be. I didn't think I would like it as much as I do, and nor did I think I'd be as good as it. But again, it went back to getting into things that will help. I wouldn't say like build the resume, but it looks like if I want to work at grassroots, or I want to work at football, or I work closer in sport, like, you can't tell me that I'm not working closely in sport when I'm on field, making sure that kids and athletes are participating safely in sport. So
it's crazy. Sorry, all the things that you just said, right? They all kind of intertwine in each thing that you do. I mean, obviously you got the grassroots and the marketing through Coffee Feed, but even with, high profile individual and university like Kaepernick and FAMU, what you're doing is still grassroots in and of itself in a certain way, in my opinion. You're building something that hasn't been built before, whether or not there's already name associated. So I just wanted to tie that together real quick.
Yeah.
Like, man.
100%. Like, I'm all in on things that I'm passionate about, really. Like, I told myself, like, what are the things I wanted to work on or I want to do? I'm passionate about inspiring people and working closely in sport. And whether it's coffee, I'm inspiring it's a different kind of inspiration in that realm, because I'm inspiring people to not drink iced coffee during the summer, which is another thing. But like, whether it's like through my work with athletes or schools, or working on the ground for during football, like as an official, like it's different. I wanted to coach a while ago, but coaching is just way too time consuming, but I still love the game and I want to be close to it. And I know a couple of people who officiate. So I'm like, all right, like, let me give it a shot. Let me see what it's like. And I did my first season. I'm like, let me just do one season, see what it's like. And I loved it. And I'm like, this is so cool. Like, I'm just chopping up with the kids. Coaches are in my ear. Like, and then I eventually like let that stuff just like fall by the wayside, because they'll just yell regardless. But it is so fun. It is.
Is it cool? It's got to be cool seeing the other side, right? Being a player, being on that side, and now you're like, okay, I get to mess with y'all now. Like,
like it's pretty dope. But it's also like, it's a new way of watching the game. Like, when I first started doing varsity games, like even when I did my first JV game, I'm like, are these kids moving this fast, or is it just me? And it's like, but really what it is that everyone's used to watching football the same way. Unless you play, everyone's used to watching it the same way. It's the TV style. You got camera panning left to right or right to left. You're watching the ball. When you're not watching the ball, but you're watching a specific amount of players in an area,
okay,
and you're just like watching them like hit each other, like you're watching for holds, you're watching all this stuff. Like it happens so quick, and that's even like kind of lower levels, but like started doing varsity. Like when I first started doing varsity, I'm like, okay, these kids are moving fast, and eventually, like the game slowed down. Like I know what I'm doing out there. I did 2 playoff games last year in the state of Oregon. So like things were smooth. When I did my first college football scrimmage, I was like, all right. All right. I'm like, part of me was like, am I in over my head? But and then I was like, nah, I'm good. Like, nah, I was cool. I'm in the right place. But these kids were flying. Do you hear me?
I mean, because it's 2022, right? I'm even, and not that we're like, from this day, right? But I mean, in the early 2000s, I mean, we're 15, 20 years removed almost, right? So like I see the progression when I watch stuff, right? But I know you see it firsthand, like as a rep.
Yeah.
Like it's crazy just to see whether it's football or basketball. I'm not a big baseball guy, but those are like the 2 sports I watch. But like just to see like athletic performance and progression through these kids, like, man, it's nuts.
It's insane. But like, I mean, but at the end of the day, like again, it just takes time to perfect the craft. You know what I mean? Like you weren't. I saw it myself. Like you weren't the best on, behind the radio, behind the scenes radio when you first started.
It took me about 7 years to get decent.
But now you're, what I mean, like you've done well in multiple markets, and the same thing when it comes to like, anything. Like you gotta give yourself time and grace. Like everyone wants to be great so quickly, especially nowadays with like social media. Like they want that instant success. They want that quick serotonin boost, but like it doesn't work like that.
Doesn't. Let me ask you this, and we're gonna wrap up here. I know because we're over the time that I even said, but there's so much. I don't know. There's so much I wanted to ask and talk to you about. So my apologies. Yeah. So you got coffee feed, right? And maybe it's not coffee related. I can't imagine coffee not being intertwined. But have you ever like is there a podcast in the works? And when I say podcast, I don't want just audio. Like I say this because I watch a whole bunch of, and I say watch because I watch them. Like when I'm in the car, I like to vibe out. I listen to music. But like when I'm doing the dishes or like I'm doing some work at home on the computer, I have the Pivot podcast up, or I'm not gonna lie, I don't watch a lot of I Am Athlete anymore. I wish that the Pivot got me. I'm a Brandon Marshall guy, but like for Channing.
Yeah, no, like you gotta choose one now. Like
one or the other. But like so I like the visual aspect. One, you have a voice, literally, and I guess figuratively, if that makes sense too, analogy wise. Is this something that you've thought about?
I've thought about it. And I'll do like special guest podcasts like every now and then where like I work with Sprudge, which is a coffee media company. And I've done some work with I did a podcast with them.
Okay.
I did an interview with Jimmy Butler, which is pretty dope. And his coffee and everything he's doing with Big Face brand. I thought about it. There's just so many podcasts. Like
right. With touche, but and this is as cliche as it sounds, and as soft and whatever ridiculous. The difference, as in any podcast, is the individual. Yeah. Nobody has Gio's network, and not saying that it's the biggest network in the world because no one has the biggest network, right? We're not Jay-Z or the president, whatever. But but no one has your network.
Yeah.
Right? No. Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. Whether it's coffee or sports or whatever it is, whatever. No one has your network. So that's why, and I know people tune the hell in. I
appreciate it. I mean, I definitely consider it. I think it's just a matter of like right now, like I wouldn't say a plateau when it comes to my like any content creation, but I do need to figure out a different extension, whether it's through podcasts or if I'm doing like YouTube channel or something. Like I don't know.
That's what I'm saying. Podcast, YouTube channel, they intertwine. And you're a troller. You love to troll. So like it works. Yeah, I said it. Yeah, we see it.
I'm not trolling. I'm just saying, like, listen, like there's a different way. You should be able to enjoy your coffee and drink it hot.
Yo, a couple more things and we'll get out of here. One, I got introduced to coffee. My dad's always been a coffee drinker.
Right.
I've loved coffee, same aspect, right? Like I've loved it since being a kid. But I really fell in love. We would go back to New York multiple times a year with my dad. That's where area he's from. In the city, and I don't know the name. You probably know what I'm referencing, but they got like, and if you don't, then we got something to talk about because I feel like I got one up on you. But you know, I know you don't. I know you're not really a New York guy. You're a West Coast guy. But they got the blue cup coffee. It's a small blue cup with like gold writing on it. Like it's been around. It's been in like different movies and shows. New York. You know what I'm talking about?
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Okay, that's like one day I got that cup of coffee. I had to be like probably like 13 or 14. And my dad he let me have it. And I'm sure he was sorry a couple hours later or 30 minutes later. But like, I mean, there was a lot of sugar in this cup of coffee and it tasted so good. But that was like what made me love coffee from there on out.
Right.
Is there something wrong with that blue cup? Is there something you said you like know exactly what I'm talking about? Like it was like bad or something?
No, there's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with it at all. But like again, like your love for coffee, like it's tethered to like a moment, right? It's tethered to
okay.
It's tethered to an experience that you had. It's tethered to like a feeling that you had,
right?
And you have the opportunity to again, like you can whether it's like you reset, you kind of get your day off started. Like there's always that moment to where you can like kind of like think about like whether it's that first cup or you can think about those good moments where you had around coffee.
That's crazy. It's crazy. The first cup of coffee, I don't do this, but I'm just saying, you know, from friends, whatever. The first cup of coffee is what I've been told is like that first smoke of the day. To those that had no idea, Gio. But no, you know what's crazy? I took 2 years off from coffee. No, a lot. I took a year and some change off from coffee. It was great. It was before Miles was born. I'm like, I know I'm gonna drink coffee when he gets here, so I want to get myself clean. As bad as that sounds or weird as that sounds.
You got to reset. It's all good.
Reset. It was great, but then once I started drinking it again, I know okay, this is gonna be tough to reset again. And if you got to go.
Not yet. I got a few more minutes.
All right, two more things, and then we're out, and we'll reconvene at some point, because you got a lot to share. I know, I got stuff to ask you. One, I wanted to say, and once I don't want to get you in an emotional state here, but you went through something. This had to be 2012. You went through a difficult life circumstance, and I just wanted to say, from a friend standpoint, you don't always understand what individuals are going through if you've never experienced it or never been through it. Nonetheless, it's not an excuse not to be there, but I did want to say that going through a couple of things in my life now, I'm like, okay, that had to be an extremely tough experience. And I wanted to, it's partly for me, right? But I want to apologize for not being there as a friend should have been. And two, once again, hats off to you for getting through something like that.
It's all good. Like, cause you know what I mean? Like, first of all, like I know that you went through a lot as well. Like you're like, there's a lot of times where you can feel lonely and like, you're just like, yo, like, like, where's everybody at? Like, or like, yo, like, it's kind of like when you're it's like you stink or something, like you're down bad. Nobody wants to be like, but a lot of people be like, yo, like, I don't know what to say, all that stuff. But like, hey, like, you know what I mean? Like, and I know like when you're in it, like, yeah, that's something that you may be thinking about, but at the end of the day, you're just trying to get through the next day. So and you're just like, hey, like I'm just trying, like it's tough and like, like it's like things just are so bad, it hits different when you're an adult, like that you just like, how could you even prepare for that? But bro, you're all good. Like, I mean, like, yeah, it was December 12th, 2011, where the lost somebody. So yeah, basically, early like 2011, and then it'll happen like in early 2012. But no, like I appreciate it. I knew that like people had my back if I needed them. And it's just like kind of hard, like, cause at that point, like, what do you say to somebody? But
you were so young. Now to put perspective on it and think back, like that time frame, like to even yeah. So what that you don't have to say, you don't have to like accept my apology or anything like that.
Nah, man, no, it's all good, bro. Like, no, like I knew, like, like life happens, like people get old, like people like like have families and they.
I get you, but forget that stuff too. I'm not forget family, but like, but if someone if something goes on, you're not supposed to be there. So, but I commend you for getting. I don't know if you get through something like that or continue living, right? That's all we can do.
Figure out a way to cope with it,
right? So no, there it is. I'm gonna end on a happier note here. I don't want to end on a sad note. So my son Miles, you'll meet him someday. I don't know when. We'll make our way to the West Coast. He's gonna love coffee. He's gonna love coffee too.
I'm gonna slide out to Ohio at some point.
We're gonna make something happen for sure. I always ask individuals now, you know, he's 3.5, but 5, 10, 15 years from now, when he watches this and, you know, indulges in it and starts comprehending stuff from this, because hopefully YouTube doesn't go anywhere and it'll still be up. What is a piece of advice you would offer him, not only as a young individual, but, you know, a man of color in this world growing up? From Gia.
To not be afraid to make mistakes. I think a lot of times, like, people are so adamant about making their next move the perfect one or the absolute right one, and you know, it's like that phrase, paralysis by analysis. When you start overthinking, you start thinking too much about, like, what do you got to do next, what's next, like, is this the right thing to do, is this the wrong thing to do? You start overthinking, like you're gonna, like, it's gonna be wild to, it's so easy to, like, just think about, like, the next move when you don't even know if it's right for you or not, because you haven't experienced it. Like, it's process of elimination is the best way that I figured out, you know, what I love and what I'm passionate about. And I know that takes time. So just make the next move, go full speed. If it doesn't work, you know, at least you know what you don't like. And then that'll just knock out all the things that you don't want to do, going towards what you do want to do, what you want to get involved with, which you want to really spend your time and effort on.
No, there it is. Thank you. And last but not least, I just want to say you're not only an inspiration now, but you've been an inspiration since I met you. So watching your journey from someone, you know, a couple of years younger than you, like, and anybody older, like, I appreciate you and keep inspiring. You're doing that.
Bro, I appreciate you, man. And I know, like, you know, like, it's been a minute since we had a full conversation, but, like, I'm always, like, looking out, making sure that you're doing everything, and watching what you do. Like, it's really been good, like, from day one, seeing you come to the radio station and doing everything you're doing now. Like, it's like, it brings a tear to my eye.
Hey, my dog, I know you got moves to make, so I'm not gonna hold you here. I'll hit you on the gram and we'll get this cleaned up. All right,
bro. Hey, good talking to you.
My dog.
All right, talk to you later.
Yes, sir.